discover more of the story.
Julie. So.
All right. On to work.
Okay, we've been live for 9 seconds, so that means there's only 20 seconds of commercials left.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
We're going to be in the Lover's Moon now, just so everybody knows. And actually, I'll hold off until I think we've got some viewers watching to talk about this because they're going to need to know it too. Oh, I suppose I need some dice.
Was it daytime last time? It was.
Is it?
Yeah, would you?
I have
no,
some dice.
Would you?
You want some?
I can't use your players.
No, yeah, no. Hey.
Will you go? Get? It's in the other room in my bag that I use for all Adventurers League.
Yep.
It should be right on the top or right near the top. Hey everyone, welcome to Arragas City of Dreams. I am bearded foe Sean Dixon, and I am not ready to start the episode because I have no dice. Okay, great. Now I'm ready to start the episode. I have my dice. Thanks for sitting through and what I'm sure was an amazing advertisement. I myself have seen a few advertisements and have really considered purchasing the products and services, goods and services that the advertisement whatever. As always, I've got my intrepid band of heroes here with me tonight who are going to navigate their way through the city streets of Arragas looking for cultists so that they can stamp them out by punching them in the face or the, whatever else, lighting up lances with holy fire and causing hair to explode. And lightning and,
it's good power.
We got good stuff. Real quick shout out to Duchess LOL. She's one of our truest fans and also another Twitch streamer with excellent content. I highly recommend that you tune into her. And my favorite podcast, Tales and Ales. If you guys haven't given that a try, it's D&D plus beer. Yes! Yay! We got somebody joining the adventure. Hey, Valizri, how's it going?
Mm-hmm.
That reminds me, I have not turned down my phone, so let's go ahead and turn on our phones.
Good call.
Rainbow Sheepy.
Okay, so to recap last week's episode, the adventurers went to the wedding of Olivier Renaud and Violetta Castellani in order to disrupt it. They had done a very good job by just sort of enabling Olivier to, to indulge himself in his vices. He missed his own wedding, and by the time they found him, he was neck deep in other people that were not his bride-to-be. The characters met a lot of really interesting people at the wedding. The Lady Juliet Linthicum and Lord Romeo Linthicum became fast friends with the most of the party after a cake ball eating contest that went very well for all concerned. A few others, Maisie Hallstatt and Cedric Hallstatt, who seemed to be talking about a saffron hair, a cat burglar who has never been caught. And then, of course, the Baron and Baroness Vortigern, who left the wedding with everyone in their wake having somewhat of a creepy vibe. They definitely seemed like they weren't at the wedding to wish anyone any good tidings. So, fortunately for the players, rescuing Violetta, as it were, from a terrible marriage has earned them the friendship and possible future business of Adel Castellani, a very powerful merchant in Arragas, who has, in return for helping his daughter, agreed to pay off the Scalebolg's remaining debt to the Guildhall, which was not an inconsiderable sum. We were looking at just under 2,000 gold griffins that were still owed. And we were coming down to the final couple days when that money had to be paid. Okay, so lots going on. Vance, of course, the leader of Scalebolg, was extremely happy with how all of that turned out. And he has happily announced to everyone that the furlough, as it was, has been lifted, and everyone gets to be paid now. And Sableguard does jobs for people, and that's made everybody really happy. So we bring ourselves into the current date. The first week of the Lover's Moon. The Lover's Moon is important because of two holidays, the Vigil and the Day of Tribute. The Vigil is the anniversary of the Battle of the Boneyard. It's a 3-day holiday where everyone basically puts their weapons and shields outside of their home to display that they are ready for any attack that comes to the city. A lot of people actually patrol the streets, like just regular citizens patrol the streets and try to keep everybody safe. Millipole does a special ceremony on the Vigil. And then there's a 1-day break, and then the Day of Tribute is effectively Arragas' Veterans Day. Everybody remembers everyone who lost their lives at the Battle of the Boneyard. Grimnir's Theater brings out the scrolls and hang them from the inner walls of the pit where everyone does all their fighting. And these scrolls have the names of every person who was killed or is otherwise missing since the Battle of the Boneyard.
And this in a couple of days?
No, this is in a couple of weeks. This is the first week of Lover's Moon, and these holidays happen during the third week.
Really glad I got a new uniform.
Yeah, and Grimnir's Theater basically opens up the whole stadium and lets people file through and leave, flowers and gifts and things like that at the base of all the scrolls in memoriam.
It's called the Lover's Moon, like specifically?
The Lover's Moon is the Lover's Moon is the name of the month. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Day of Tribute is towards the end of the month.
Yeah, the Day of Tribute is at the end of the third week in the Lover's Moon. Okay?
I'll be looking spiffy.
Are you going to be marching in the Veterans Day parade?
Man, I should.
Yeah, you guys would. Millipole, you have probably in the past partaken of some of the Millipole ceremonies. Yes. Okay.
Not recently, but I have been doing it.
So we're gonna gloss over a few days. The adventurers have earned themselves a little bit of downtime, well-earned downtime after all of their trials and tribulations and crashing a wedding, which is normally a pretty fun thing to do, except that they went into a politically hellish landscape and had to make nice and look good and not say the wrong thing in front of the wrong person. So,
which was tough.
Yeah, it really was. But thanks to Arister's mother, who was a very competent guide, she was able to keep them from making some faux pas. So let's go ahead and I'm just going to move around the table and talk about what each character has in store for them during this downtime. So Kethra Sogard gets summoned to the church, and not the Four Winds Abbey, like the church,
the big
one,
the big one in the center of Arragas. She gets an official letter from Abbot Eugene, signed and stamped and sealed. And they ask you to, on this particular day, you need to be there before sext, right? Before noon. So when you get there, Kethra, you are summoned to one of the wings of the church, and Abbot Eugene is actually standing outside of one of the conference rooms, and he is pacing back and forth in his elderly way. You notice that he is wearing his best, like his actual ceremonial garb that he wears when he's performing services, and not just the regular monk's habit that he sort of lounges around the abbey in and does garden work in and stuff like that. When you arrive and get close to him, you can see that he has a very worried look on his face. And he says, I'm sorry, Kethra, but some of the things that you confessed to me were alarming, and I needed to seek the advice of wiser people, and I'm afraid that we both might be in a little bit of trouble. I will just say this: wait patiently out here until you hear the bell, and when you come in, just cooperate. Just cooperate. And then he gives you a loving pat on the shoulder and takes a deep breath, and then he goes into the room and closes the door.
That doesn't sound good.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So you guys you wait outside
And freak out,
and
yeah.
you can hear. Yeah, I'm sure you're like, wait, what? I thought I was coming to get an award or something. Did someone say something about a check?
Sounds like an inquisition.
Yeah. So when you hear a bell, it's just a gentle, just one time, like ding, right? Do you want to mentally prepare yourself in any way, or?
I'm gonna do some aura praying while this is all going on.
Okay.
Take
Yeah.
some deep breaths.
Good.
Drink a little.
I don't have beer. I don't have beer.
No beer.
Yeah. No beer.
No
No beer
beer.
in the hallway. That's not really.
I
You
don't
don't have
I
your
don't
flask
have-
like taped to your legs or
Actually-
something. Like,
Surely there's a.
come on.
Let's just, teen alcoholism is a problem in Arragas. Fine.
Yeah, but she's
Gonna try
not a
to
teen.
curb.
She's a young adult. She's 16. Teens are like 10-year-olds.
Yeah. I'm like an adult.
Yeah,
She should
she's
be
old enough
married
to
by
fight.
now.
She's old enough to vote.
Very
She's old enough
sus.
to serve in the church.
Yep.
She's old enough to have a beer. All right, so you head into the room.
Very tentatively.
yes,
Like, this
and we-
is not a confident Kethra just walking in.
Yeah, okay. And when you get in there, there is a table. Basically, everything has been scooted to the sides of the room. So there's just an open space in the center of the room. And the longest table has been slid all the way to the back of the room. And there are 3 chairs, right? And in the chair farthest to your left sits Abbot Eugene, and he's doing his best to look official, but you can read the anxiety on his face. Okay, sitting next to him is High Matron Parvana. She is like in the upper echelon of the Church of Ara. Like, you have seen her from afar at like gatherings.
She's like
and
a
stuff.
cardinal. She's not the
Yeah.
Pope.
Oh yeah. No. Yeah.
She's
She's
a cardinal.
she's up there. Yeah. She is. She's wearing. She's got a tall hat and
Is it
with
red?
the lightning bolts. Yeah. And the whole deal. Like, but the fact that you are
Hat
this
knows
close to
importance.
someone of that level makes you instantly. I mean, your blood runs cold. And
Right,
you're
I
like,
go
oh
totally pale.
god,
Yeah.
this is like being at the principal's office. And then she's sitting in the middle, and there is a bell on the table in front of her. She also looks very official. She has no emotion on her face. She just seems to be watching you. The third seat, which is the seat to your right, is empty. And when you come in, High Matron Parvana instructs you to close the door.
She's gonna ring the bell of scorn at you.
So I turn around. Shame. I turn around.
Shame.
And I, nervously close the door. And then
Okay.
I turn and stare
Okay.
awkwardly.
As you close the door, standing behind the door is a tall man with nearly jet black hair, and he startles you because his face is painted, right? And his face is pure white, not like actual like pigment white, like pure white, with a jagged red line that goes down the exact center of his face. And then around his eyes is black, and there are 3 black lines that splay out from the corner of his eyes and go up as they disappear into his hair.
Have I ever seen anyone like that at the church ever?
You have never seen anyone here, but go ahead and make a history check with advantage. Because you will have probably heard of the group that this guy works for.
Hold on, in the box. I got 14 both times.
Okay,
I rolled.
good.
Hold on, wait.
Good.
15.
Even Steven. Okay,
16,
15, 16. Okay. So the only people that you know about that wear face paint are called Bedu Seekers. And it is their job to root out chaos in the old Spanish Inquisition type ways, right? So they find someone who's got chaos and they basically attempt to poison it out of them or burn it out of them or drown it out of them. They have complete authority to pursue their ends, and they answer solely to the Empress of Arragas.
So I mean, these are the boogeymen of my church.
These are the boogeymen of everyone's church.
Okay.
These are the boogeymen. These persons are basically, if someone is actually believed to be tainted with chaos, these guys come and get them and take them away, and nobody ever sees them again, usually.
Okay, I visibly start shaking.
Yeah,
When I see this guy. Like, visibly
Do they
shaking.
condone purification of babies?
That's a different game.
Yeah, that's a totally different game.
Different game.
That's a totally different game. Okay, so High Matron Parvana instructs you to come to the center of the room into the light. So there are like candle lights.
There's
and
like
stuff
a
around.
spotlight in the middle
Well,
of
it's
the
not a
room?
spotlight. It's just the most lit area of the room.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would stand
As you
most
do
lit
so,
area.
go ahead and make a perception check.
Okay. Taylor, your dice. No, I shouldn't knock on wood.
Yeah,
That's
don't-
very good to me.
Your dice are very good too.
16 plus 5 is
21. Good job. All right. So as you start moving to the center of the room, you
I
happen
am
to-
like eyeing
Yeah.
everything out.
you look around the room and you notice standing in the other corner is a woman with blonde hair, and her face is also painted. Okay, so her face is cut in half with black on top and white on the bottom, and there's a yellow circle, almost like a sunrise or something, that goes around the center of her face. Right? She is eyeballing you sternly, as is the other Bedu seeker. Okay. All right. So High Matron Parvana basically starts speaking to you, and she says, Priestess Kethra, Abbot Eugene has made some confessions to me, and he has confided in me that he is fearful of the path you're on, and that it may have taken you to dangers that you were not yet ready to face. This is informal. You're not in any real trouble, and we're just going to ascertain like how much danger you may be in. Do you have any questions before we begin? By the way, make an insight check.
I don't like all these checks I'm having going
Yeah.
Insight.
She's a witch.
19.
19. All right. You are in trouble.
Oh, okay.
She's like, you're not in any real trouble, and that's like the thing they tell you to calm you down so that you'll cooperate, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Interrogation tactics.
So, right, it's an interrogation tactic. That is exactly right. Okay, so as a real quick question, are you currently armed or armored, or did you answer the summons in just sort of priest clothing?
I don't think I would have brought my armor. I think I just would have, because we were on downtime, so I would have been hanging out with Dad. So no armor.
Okay. Are you carrying your bow or anything like that, or did you? I mean, you can have it at the church, but like you could have like checked it at the door if you want. But
I would not have brought into an official meeting like my bow.
Okay. So High Matron Parva says we are just going to ask you a few questions, and all we ask of you is that you tell us the truth. And she says, "Is that okay?" Okay, and do you have any questions for us before you begin?
Nope.
Okay. She says, okay, we are actually just going to sit back and watch, we have a person here who is going to be asking most of the questions. And so the Bedu Seeker, the male, comes out of the corner, and he says, what does he say? He says, Kethra Sogard, I am Sambanji. I am a Bedu Seeker.
I know.
Do you know who I am? Yeah, I know Kethra doesn't. Yeah, Kethra wouldn't. Yeah, Kethra's too pious.
I know who your organization is.
Very good. I'm going to ask you some questions, and I require absolute truth from you. If you lie to me, I will know. Do you understand?
Yes.
Have you ever been exposed to any beasts or agents of what we know as chaos?
Well, I mean, exposed. I bought them.
They were clothed.
But
they
I wasn't like...
exposed themselves to me.
Rolling in our innards.
How many is them?
Well, there was 2 rhino dogs, and one of them was pregnant. And then there was a bunch of baby rhino dogs that were all blatantly infected with chaos. And then there was this witch lady, and she was definitely infected with chaos. But there could have been more people in the group infected with chaos. This lady had a way of not showing she was infected with chaos, so maybe other people could have done it. I don't really know, but yeah.
So he looks over at the woman in the corner, and then he looks back at you, and he says, so 2 rhino dogs that were chaotic, and 1 witch.
Well, I don't know if she was technically a witch, but maybe. I'm just trying to be as honest as possible.
Did these events occur anywhere near Watanga Mining Complex?
Yes.
And what happened with these rhino dogs and this witch?
We used Sacred Flame and we burned them.
Were they alive when you burned them?
No. I don't think so. Do chaos things die, right? I mean, I don't know.
Sometimes.
Okay. They seemed dead, but I don't know. We made.
Did you touch any of them?
I mean, I don't think I did. Honestly, I'm not sure if I did or not.
You should assume we've already watched all the YouTube videos. We know the truth.
Let's really hope they don't ask me that question.
I don't. I mean, I may have touched them while fighting them, or when I was flipping the bodies and burning it.
All right.
I can't.
So he motions to the woman in the corner, and she comes around and stands behind you so that you're between the 2 of them. And he starts mumbling something, and his eyes go bright white, and you can see that he is basically just scanning, like he's looking at you, like he is examining you with some sort of a spell.
I cover my body.
Good. Modesty is always important.
We had moonstones.
When you look behind you, the woman behind you, her eyes are also like just stark white, glowing, and she is like looking all around you, and she doesn't seem to be looking at you so much as kind of like around you in your general vicinity. And they sort of pace around you. This goes on for a full minute easily, right? It's horrifying.
I feel like you're at TSA.
When you look over at Abbot Eugene, he's got his hands over his eyes like this, and you can tell that he's got his hands, like he is praying for you. Like he's got his hands like this, and he is praying, and it doesn't look good. Like you can see the worry lines around his mouth, right? High Matron Parvana is just staring at you. She's just stone-faced. She's just as stern as she was when you walked in. After a moment, their eyes go back to normal, and he says, do you know of anyone else who may have been infected by chaos?
No.
All right.
I don't think so.
He squints his eyes at you, and he says, "Very well. I warned you that I would know if you were lying. Did I not?
Yeah.
All right. I will discuss the penalty for lying with your superiors." He then walks around you and begins addressing Parvana and Eugene. The female Bedu moves behind you, so she's between you and the door. And the High Matron Parvana says, "What is your recommendation, Sembanji?" And he says, "She is clean. However, she is lying to us." And High Matron Parvana says, "What do you recommend the church do in this instance?" And he looks around at you, and release the rhino dog. He looks around at you and studies you for a moment, and then turns back and says, "Do nothing at this time. She may still have use to our order." And you see Parvana she's shocked that you don't want to hang her, or you don't want to burn her alive, or, you can see like the disappointment cross her face, right? And she says, "Do nothing?" And he says, "Disciplining her at this time would be fruitless." Then he turns around to you and says, "We'll be keeping an eye on her, a close eye." Then he turns back and says, "Thank you for your time. I have another appointment." And they walk out. And Matron Parvana looks at you and says, "In my 20 years as a High Matron, I have never had to deal with Bedu Seekers. This isn't over." And she turns to Eugene and says, "Discipline her." And then she gets up and she walks out. Eugene waits for her to leave before he uncovers his face. Like, he has just been like this the whole time. When you see him pull his hands down, you can tell that he was crying. That he thought he was going to lose you, right? So when he comes over, he just gives you a big old hug. Just boom, immediately. And he says, "It's okay. I knew you wouldn't get mixed up in it. I had faith in you. It's okay. Your discipline, I'll think of your discipline, but in the future, when you run into these things, you need to tell us. You could have been killed, or worse, you could have been infected. I have never seen anyone cleansed, but I've read reports of what they used to do, and if we haven't changed in the last 50 years, you would have wished you were dead before they were finished with you."
Well, he's telling me that, as soon as he hugged me, I just started sobbing.
Yeah.
I broke down as well. It was just like a 16-year-old mess.
Yeah.
Tears. Sobbing.
Yeah, and you can tell, like, his voice cracks, right? Like, while he's talking, like, he is just absolutely relieved that didn't go anywhere where he was afraid it was going to go. Like, it did not even remotely. And he says, go home. The first phase of your discipline is to go home and have dinner with your father tonight, and then come to the Abbey tomorrow, and I'll have something for you to do. All right, so he lets you go. He leaves the room. You wait a few seconds or whatever to collect yourself, because you don't want all the other priests to see what's been going on. And when you walk outside, Sam Banji and the other Bedu are standing in the hallway. And
I look at the floor and I just try to walk on by.
He says, "Kethra Sogard." Can you hold this broom for me? He kind of looks you over and he says, there are few people with the moral constitution to have withstood what you withstood. And I commend you on that. But please take me at my word when I say that we will be watching you very closely.
Okay.
And then he and the other find their way out. Okay, cool. So
Okay,
ham for dinner.
I go straight
Your dad
to
makes
Dad's.
makes your favorite green
More
beans.
ham.
Your green bean
Straight to
casserole.
Dad's.
Yeah. Okay, Arister, over the first week of the Lover's Moon, you get summoned to the Order of the Shield
Okay.
by your mentor, Grenadon Azeldorn, a fellow paladin of Givney.
I recall.
When you get there, you see pretty much every paladin of Givney that's in the city has been summoned. It's some sort of a general meeting, right?
All right.
So there are 45 or 55 of you.
I didn't have any advance notices.
No, everybody got summoned at the same time.
Okay.
You get the impression that it was a general call that was sent out, like everyone show up. We have something really important to talk about. Okay, so you get apprised, as does everyone else in the room, by Gren, that Fort Murdo has been assaulted by a large force of what preliminary reports are saying is mostly goblins, but some bugbears are leading the army, and it is not yet known what their plan is or what they want.
Okay.
The thing that's he points out is that we've known for a little over a year now that the goblin problem in the mountains has been growing. We just did not realize the magnitude of the issue. So a general call has been sent out to Arragas, to all Millipole people and all fighting men, to send reinforcements to Fort Murdo to break the siege. Our order has also been ordered to send reinforcements to Fort Murdo in the way of chaplains and cavalry officers. However, we have also been ordered to leave a garrison behind in the city to help maintain peace, as we expect lots of the fighting personnel of Arragas to run to Fort Murdo. We certainly don't want the city to fall into lawlessness like it did right after Empress Sabine left with the majority of Millipole. And everyone is like shouting and grumbling about this, because you get the sense that everybody wants to go to Fort Murdo, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, some of you have to stay behind and be police, basically. And he has to call everybody to order a couple of times, right? He's please, this order has come straight down from Lord Obrad. Half of our number must stay in Arragas. I know it is not as glorious. I know it is not as fulfilling as it would be to go meet our soldier brethren on the field of battle and help them push back the goblins into the pit. But it is necessary. Please, I'm asking for volunteers before I pick the garrison. And so everybody starts mumbling and talking amongst themselves and everything. And he says, if you are willing to stay behind in Arragas and work patrols, please come to the front of the room now so that I may take your names. And he looks around, waiting for people to go. And pretty soon, a few people start meandering forward, and
Interesting.
yeah, so you
I'll note the captains.
have a choice to make.
Right.
Stay in Arragas or
I probably want to go.
to Fort Murdo.
Yeah.
Okay.
My buddy's up there.
Yep, that is
Restus.
where Restus Lacrast is.
Yeah. A couple of my military unit, I assume, might be up there as well. But yeah, I want to go track him down if I can.
Okay.
Whether I'll be assigned to stay here or not is up to the boss.
Right.
Depending on how many people we have signed up.
Right.
But no, I'm not going to go. I'm not going to go volunteer.
Okay. So after a little while, he takes the 12 or so people, dozen or so people that have volunteered. He's written their names down. He says, "Very good. I'll have areas of Arragas for you to patrol. You'll be loosely, you'll have loose authority. I mean, obviously you'll be able to enforce all of the laws, but you have loose authority to make arrests and bring people to Millipole offices and things like that. And we don't anticipate there being a lot of lawlessness, but you know how people can get when there's a panic." And he looks out at everyone else and he says, "I have to say that I'm a little disappointed in the rest of you. I will be picking names, but Givney protects all. Let us not forget our vow. She is the protector of everyone, not just soldiers, not just people in forts, but people in the city, civilians, bakers, blacksmiths, candlestick makers. However else the rhyme goes. Wee willy winkies that run through the town. They all get protected."
Hear, hear.
Anyway, he says, "You're all dismissed. Look tomorrow on the list to see where your name is, and you will either be garrisoned here in Arragas or you will be shipping out tomorrow to Fort Murdo with the rest of the fighting units to try to break the siege on Fort Murdo. You are dismissed." You return the next day and find that your name is in fact on the garrison list, along with 20 or so other names, 12 of whom volunteered. The other 8 were hand-selected.
Well, I just spent 4 hours of packing.
Yeah.
For no reason.
Pull my lance back out of the lance bag.
I told everyone at the guild hall goodbye.
Yep, I'm off. I gotta go find my friend.
Wow.
Yeah. So you unpack, and you may be a little butthurt. The other paladins are also a little butthurt because they're
I'm
like,
gonna mention it to Grant. Actually.
why are we responsible for policing? Like, you should be sending us to the front line and telling Millipole to leave some of their people behind to do the police work. Like, we are not police officers, right? But Lord Obrad is the High Lord of the Order. Like, there's nobody above him except Givney, right? So he is the one that said, "Do not send all of our forces to Murdo. Keep some behind." So Grenadon understands. Grenadon's name is on the garrison list too, by the way, because he needs to stay behind and
run things.
Yeah, he basically needs to stay behind.
How old is Arister?
He's 32.
Yeah, he's
Ageism.
Yeah,
You should file a suit.
yeah. We're sending young people to fight, Arister, and I'm sorry, but
I'm ready to die in combat.
gotta
you
go
rotated
run
out of the
there
young
in the
roster
corner.
last year.
Some hot soup and a nice rocking
I've
chair.
still got some
Yeah,
marching
for you.
skills. I march on my
Rams.
own.
What's the Lord's name again?
Obrad, Obrad, Obrad.
I do a weekly forced march to keep myself sharp.
Yeah, with all your gear, like with all
my
your gear. Yeah,
Yep.
all your gear. Okay, so that happens, and Grenadon, as soon as you walk in, he's like, "Arister, I know. It's not the most prestigious of postings, but it is necessary."
This is not the first time I've been left behind. I really would prefer to go to the fort.
That happened 9 years ago. You didn't let it go. He says, I understand. If it's any consolation, were the choice mine, I would have sent you. But I had to pass this list past Obrad, and he vetoed some of the names I had to rewrite the list twice. I'm sorry. We need you here. Arragas needs you.
Why do I feel as if my family name has something to do with this?
I wouldn't dare to mix in those sorts of politics. You're talking to a dunce. But I will just say that a cunning wolf like you always smells where the meat's cooking.
A fair-minded dunce.
Yeah. Well,
And one of my best friends.
look at the bright side. We've got this shitty post together.
Excellent.
All right? And I'm sure that your friends at Fort Murdo are fine. The initial reports said that the casualties were actually quite low. There were a lot of wounded, but very few deaths. Goblin weapons are meant to sting and hook.
I had heard that the goblins were quite organized, however.
Yeah, well, the bugbears are a different concern, but fortunately, Thanks to a few scouting patrols, most of Millipol was able to shore up defenses in the fort, and they are now besieged. We are going there, or we aren't, but everyone else is going there to break the siege. And they're goblins; they'll scatter. I mean, as soon as you kill their leadership, half of them will begin to infighting to see who gets to be the next leader, and the others will run away because there isn't anyone to tell them what to do.
Is he saying all this as you can hear screams over the screams of men over the horizon? Like
No. Murder. No.
More people.
No.
It's not
Fort's out. It's pretty far
weapon.
out.
Yeah, Fort
Sting,
Prescio
right?
is most of the day away, and then Murdo is like half a day north from there. So you guys can't hear the screams.
I thought we just had
the screams are so far away
2-hour
you can't
trip
hear
to-
any screams.
Okay.
None of the screams.
They're dead. It's okay.
Okay, so they're dead. It's all right. Shh, go to sleep. Those are echoes. All right, so you go back and unpack, and otherwise curse your rotten luck. Okay.
Stress down.
During the
Take my
first
stuff
week of the Lover's Moon, Macaria goes back to Epsilon to confront Jenner about stealing her sword. When you get there, and knock on the door, you remember where to go. Like you have burned it into your memory. Like, I'm going to come back here every day until somebody gives me my sword back. You knock on the door. It's the middle of the day, and a woman opens the door, and you recognize her to be Jarell, the one who called you a trollop, right? And now that you're actually seeing her in the daylight, you realize that she's an elf. Like, she's got the pink-hued skin, and you can see some locks of her purple hair coming down out from under her hood. But the other night or whatever, in the candlelight, like, she just looked like, just a rosy-skinned person. Anyway, she kind of looks you up and down, and then she just leaves the door open and walks in, and you hear her say, "The trollop is back."
Percy Liliana.
Yeah, this is your
Social
fault.
phase.
This is your fault. All elves know each other. This is your fault.
Well, no, she was the one that was like, oh yeah, they spent the night together.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about that. Okay, so you go in and you can see Jenner sitting at one of the tables, and you remember the priest who was praying and like sharpening a sword and reading the book. He's at one of the tables. Jarell goes and sits down with Falia. Falia is the one that you sparred with. Yeah, dueled. And they're sitting at the same table, like the same table they were before, and they're just like, giving you dirty looks. And then there's a new guy in here, one that you've never seen before. He's very tall, super scruffy, like 5 o'clock shadow on his beard. He looks extremely muscular. And he smiles at you, and his teeth are unusually white and straight. And he looks you over and he says, "Well, I don't. She doesn't look like any trollop I know, and I know plenty of trollops." And he just kind of circles around you, right? And you remember that Vencarlo is the one that they initially accused you. Like, Vencarlo isn't here. Mm-hmm. Go away. Like, Vencarlo's not here. They assumed that you were there for Vencarlo. Anyway, Jenner laughs and says, "Vencarlo, get away from her. She's one of mine." And Vencarlo says, "Oh, pardon me, madam." And he kind of bows to you and steps back. Jenner gets up and he says, "Well, I was wondering when you would come here. Falia tells me that you came the other night when I was away on business, and I'm sorry that I missed your little scuffle." She said there was a bit of swordplay.
A bit.
Yeah. Falia says it was child's play. And Jenner kind of smiles at her, and he says, "Well, what do you want?"
I would like my sword back.
Well, and everybody kind of chuckles at that. And he says, "There are lots of people in Arragas who want to take back the things that they have lost to us, as you might have guessed. And if you remember, the Epsilon headquarters has got all kinds of trinkets and weapons and all kinds of weird hats and weird things just all over the place. Like, just it's like almost like a yard sale or something, right?" He says, I saw something in you the other night when we met on the street. He doesn't adjust his glasses. That's me adjusting glasses. He's not wearing glasses. He's hawk-eyed. Not like me. I'm like beetle-eyed. He says, with the proper training, you could actually be good with that thing.
You saying I'm not good now?
And both Thalia and Jarrell laugh at that one. And he says, well, I mean, you did get bested by Olivier's thugs, and those guys were street trash. I mean, I
was wildly outnumbered, and also you were there.
And he says, those sound like excuses. And, for your information, I have since severed ties with Olivier. I do not work for that man anymore.
Intriguing.
I'll tell you what. I'll make you this deal. You can either fight me for your sword right now. If you win, you can take it and leave in peace. No other harm will come to you. If I win, I get to keep it forever. Or you can train with me and earn it back and possibly earn a place among us. The finest sword masters in all of Arragas. I'll give you a minute to think about it.
Premier
And
junk collector.
and he sits down in his chair and kind of tips back and grabs a mug of ale and starts sipping at it.
Okay. I guess I just kind of like look them up and down and like look around the room at people's faces, like trying to gauge.
Okay, so I'll tell you that. Oh, of course. All right, so make 2 perception checks.
Should defiantly knock over a hat rack.
Oh, the first one's good.
Should be like,
Keep your trinkets.
21,
Out of my way,
but then
babe.
an 8.
21, but then an 8. All right. So Vencarlo is watching you with a smile on his face, and you're not sure whether or not he is leering at you or whether he's wondering which option you'll choose, right?
Mm-hmm.
But either way, he's having a great time. Okay. The priest in the corner is doing what he was doing the night that you came. Like, his back is to you guys, and he's sharpening his sword, and he's just poring over this old tome. And you can't tell if he is even aware that someone showed up today. Like, he's just kind of off in his own little world. Thalia and Jarrell are doing their best to pretend like this is a bunch of bullshit and they're just not interested. But you can tell by how tensely they're sitting in their seats that they're both secretly hoping that there's going to be some sort of a fight. Okay? And Jenner is just sitting in his chair looking at you, waiting for a response.
Okay. Through Macaria's brash attitude, can I sense that he is like very obviously a like top high level swords person? Like,
that's a really good question. Make an insight check, and I will give you your level as a bonus to the roll. Your level in sword
there's a
mastery.
thing in there. That is not the best, but that'd be 12 plus 3 for my level. 15.
15. Well, I'll put it to you this way. You can't really gauge his prowess with a blade because you've never actually seen him fight. However,
I saw his stance.
You were able to surmise that he took the same stance as Thalia took when she beat you. And if he's in charge of this place, it's a good bet that he's a better swordsman than she is.
Okay. Then after having like a super like skeptical, like pretty pissed off look on my face, I'd be like, fine, what would this training entail?
Vencarlo laughs. He's like, ho ho! And Jenner sits forward and sets his cup down and he goes, great! I knew you would have the right attitude about this. Come every week. We'll do sparring sessions. And if you're lucky, you'll get to fight us all. First, before you leave, I want to introduce you to everyone. this is Falia. And Falia's like, whatever. This is, Jarell. And she nods and says, Trollop. And Jenner kind of looks at her and he says, you've already met me. I'm Jenner. This tall, handsome fellow here is Vencarlo. Be careful. He's a lady killer and he doesn't use weapons. And that sad sack in the corner is Sandrew. But don't let his demeanor fool you. He is merciless in battle. Why don't you give everyone your name?
Macaria.
Just Macaria?
Storm Dragon.
Macaria Storm Dragon. What an epic name. All right, Macaria Storm Dragon. I look forward to beginning your training. We will start later this week.
Very well.
Now, if you don't mind, we do actually have some guild business, and since you're not part of our guild yet, you are not welcome.
All right. Guess I'll leave them.
Okay. All right, so we'll take a break there. We got our mini break, for our biometric maintenance issues. So get up, stretch your legs, refill your drinks, go to the potty if you need to, make a fresh bowl of popcorn, and we will return in 10 minutes, which will be 9:05, 2105 hours.
All right.
We will continue.
For a second there, I thought he was going to send her on a mission, like, collect 3 boots by the morning.
Yeah.
Kill 10 bears.
Right boots.
Right.
Not just any
Yes.
boot. It has to be the right
I'll
boot.
leave it up to you if the feet are still in them.
There are rats in the cellar.
That's right. Go kill the rats.
Duelist choice.
All right. So I will talk more about the holidays. So the Battle of the Boneyard lasted for 3 days. It lasted for the third Sol Day, Grimnir Day, and Givney Day of the Lover's Moon, just months and months and months ago. Years and years and years ago. 9 years ago. Okay. So since then, the vigil has been celebrated by everyone, and basically the way most people celebrate is they take a weapon and a shield, or weapons and shields, weapons and armor, and they place them outside of their home on their doorsteps or on their porches or what have you, near their doors to indicate readiness, right? Like they can come out of their house and be ready to face any threat. And this is both stems from a sense of pride in the fact that Arragas was not destroyed during the Battle of the Boneyard, but also as a form of remembrance, because very often the weapons and shields that are placed outside belonged to combatants who fought in the battle. So it's a way to also show, in a very somber way, how many of your family died during that battle to save the rest of Arragas. So sometimes when you go to someone's house and they've got like 5 shields out, it could indicate that they have 5 people in the home that are ready to fight, or that there were 5 people who died during the Battle of the Boneyard from that family, or some combination thereof. In between, it's a very solemn holiday. There aren't a lot of public feasting or parades or anything like that, with the exception of Millipole, who hosts parades that basically ceremonial, raising of flags and retreating of flags and things like that throughout the city at Millipole posts. They all do a very serious and solemn ceremony every day, each of the 3 days during the vigil. In addition, many citizens will, even if they're not a member of Millipole or a member of a guild that is responsible for patrolling and or otherwise, keeping the law, they will stand watch over their particular neighborhoods by sitting out on their porches all night, or actually walking the block, back and forth, up and down the street to make sure that everything is okay. They very often organize these things at the neighborhood level. So most neighborhoods during the vigil are being constantly watched by the people who live in those neighborhoods. So not surprisingly, crime goes down a little bit during this holiday, as it's just a lot more difficult to sneak around and not be seen by people when there are literally, you could go to one neighborhood and there might be 24 people who are patrolling at all hours of the night, between everyone who lives on the street. Okay, so then there is a 1-day break. It's not really a break. It's just the third Ara day of the Lover's Moon is not part of the holiday. It's just kind of a day of rest for everyone. And then the third Alaguder of the Lover's Moon is the day of tribute, and that is what I was saying earlier about it. Basically is the same as the United States holiday Veterans Day. So everyone remembers their loved ones and those who died during the battle. The Grimnir's Theater has a series of lists that are on huge scrolls, like we're talking 4 foot wide and 8 foot tall scrolls that they hang from the walls inside the amphitheater, right inside the stadium. And these scrolls are purported to contain the names of every single Arragasian who died during the battle or who otherwise went missing during the Battle of the Boneyard and has not yet been recovered. These scrolls are put up on display. The entire public of Arragas is allowed to come through the stadium and leave small packages and gifts and flowers and anything else that they want to remind everyone of the sacrifice that they had when members of their family died, and the sacrifice that those family members made for the rest of Arragas. Again, this is a very solemn holiday. It's not really celebrated with a lot of fireworks or feasting or present giving or anything like that. It's just a remembrance holiday, and where everyone just sort of mutually grieves and respects everyone else's right to grieve. Now, the Battle of the Boneyard happened 9 years prior. For those of you who are just tuning in, I see that I've got a couple of new followers in the chat who have just joined the show. Thank you and welcome. So the Battle of the Boneyard was, for those of you just joining us, was a battle, a 3-day battle that where a huge force of orcs, ogres, manticores, and other things basically crashed into the northern city walls in an attempt to destroy the entire city. And their heavy hitter was a huge black dragon, and it took 3 days for them to bring the dragon down. During the battle, tens of thousands of Arragas citizens were killed. And then the site where the dragon finally crashed when they were able to bring him down is known as the Boneyard, because when he crashed, his body exploded from the impact, like basically popped open and ripped apart, and a black mist or fog shot out in every direction from his body, which is called the miasma. And the miasma instantly killed everyone that it touched. Since then, the city of Arragas has built a containment wall around the area of the city that is now known as the Boneyard in remembrance of the battle. And it is illegal to try to enter the Boneyard, and the penalty is stiff fines and imprisonment. And it is also illegal to exit the Boneyard, and the penalty for getting caught exiting the Boneyard is death. So, okay, yeah, great. So that's everything. Lots of really cool emojis in the chat. I think one of them is a guy with a goatee, like staring off to one side. I don't really understand that emoji.
It is Jenner.
Oh, it's Jenner. Oh, is that Jenner? Is that how Jenner looks? He's strikingly handsome now that I know that it's
I
Jenner.
figured a dark-haired bearded guy.
Did I gain my 3 hit points back from being pinched super hard?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All of your
Okay.
pinch wounds, all of your pinching related wounds have healed.
Posted Jenner and Dragonbirds.
Everyone has a
Paul,
nasty
Taylor, I would have
pinch.
totally forgotten
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So basically, we're gonna do a once I get finished talking with everybody about what their characters have done during the downtime. We're gonna do a 4-day time jump to the end of the first week of the Lover's Moon, and from there we are going to hopefully move forward into a mission that will be at least lucrative for the members of Sable Guard, our intrepid heroes.
She likes going
Why
under
did
the
I?
She really likes going under the table. It's a perfect dog spot.
Yeah.
Perfect cozy spot.
Secret dog.
Do you want to say hi to everybody, Junebug?
Yeah, so all of the thanks for bringing that up, 2-Bit and Carazol. So we do have a YouTube channel. You can go out to YouTube and watch all of our past episodes. The YouTube channel is Bearded Foe. It has my logo, the logo that you see here on the show, both to the immediate what is that, my left and below me. So you can go there and.
Is Tabletop Roundup up yet?
And Tabletop Roundup, the first two, well, I shouldn't say the first 2 episodes. The first episode.
First 2 halves of the first episode.
Right. Is up. Tabletop Roundup is, we're running an L5, a Legend of the Five Rings game. Tabletop Roundup is our new installment, and I highly recommend going out there. The story has started off with a bang, and it was a good time had by all. So go watch those. And there will be more installments of Tabletop Roundup. And for those of you who are wondering why there are 2 halves of of the Secrets of Kasat and Shiro, it's because our map cam, which would normally be below me in the screen, has been a very naughty cam and is continually eluding all of my attempts to fix it. I have even gotten to the stage now where I'm purchasing new hardware, and none of that is working. So pretty soon I will get a hold of all of my techie friends, and I'm going to give them, a D&D riddle that involves 4 cameras, 2 USB ports, and a few other things, and see which one of them earns the 10,000 XP and probably one or two gold pieces. I don't know. Okay, so welcome back, everybody. We've got all of our players back. Everybody has hopefully done their stretches and otherwise refilled their snack bowls and things of that nature.
Oh.
Okay, so
You didn't make an Amazon wish list.
best an Amazon wish list.
Yeah.
Yes, Carazol. I've tried turning it off and on. Yes, Carazol. Good. Very good question. It never hurts to ask. Maybe I will make an Amazon wish list. We'll see what happens there.
Do you have a good place where people can go for links to all of the different socials? Is it listed on the bottom of the Twitch?
When you say all the different socials, I'm assuming you mean Twitch and Facebook, right?
And YouTube.
And YouTube,
Right,
yeah.
YouTube. Yeah.
No, I don't have any links anywhere. I suppose we can add it to the... my logo below me does have my website, beardedfoe.com, and that website will basically lead you back to the Twitch page. So now that I've said that out loud, I realize my mistake there.
I was trying to post the link in the chat for the YouTube episodes for the new people that are joining us. It's the Bearded Foe on YouTube. That's the
Bearded
channel
Foe.
name, though.
Yeah, the Bearded
So,
Foe.
shouldn't be too hard to find.
Duncan might be able to do that if he could try posting that link. Thank you.
Duncan.
Yes, Duncan. Duncan, you are summoned to post. Speaking of, while we're taking just a quick break to address people in the chat, is Sam watching?
I don't know. I sent him a text message
I
earlier.
sure hope that he got a kick out of his namesake in the. I was going to do an Optimus Prime voice, like, I am Sam Bonji, right? But because it was the only way I could think of to make Sam, like, cooler. Like, he's already so cool, I was just like, how do I make him cooler for the show? And that's all I could think of. But, so I practiced that for, like, weeks, just so you guys know. I sounded just like Optimus Prime, didn't I, just then? I mean, a Transformer of, no relation to Please Don't Sue Us. Okay. All right, so, back to the show. Vesper.
Okay.
Phineas comes to you and he says, listen, Vesper, it is I, Phineas. Listen, the other men, they elected me to talk for them. Your absenteeism has become a problem. So you're officially an understudy. Excuse me. You're officially an understudy. We've promoted your understudy to all of your parts. I know you're angry. I can tell that you're seething right now.
It's cold-blooded.
There's two ways to do this. There's two ways to handle this, Vesper. There's the right way and there's the wrong way. And I hope that you pick the right way. But you understand the show must go on. I mean, I know you've been busy and you've been dealing with a lot of stuff, and I've seen some of your disguises.
Chaotic things.
Well, I wouldn't want to talk about that in present company. I thought you said it was a secret.
Well, my chaotic lifestyle.
Oh yes. Your
Your
chaotic lifestyle. Yes.
It's the best.
So listen though, I think that we'll just call this a hiatus. All right, we just need to. We'll write up a few new posters. We'll make sure to include your name somewhere near the bottom in the fine print. And of course,
I'll take a producer credit.
Well, that's negotiable. I'm the producer, so
Right. Well.
But listen, I hope that this doesn't affect our relationship with Pippi in any way, because we all really enjoy having her around, and of course she's you're both still part of the Arragas players, right? We're not kicking you out. We're just gonna give you the freedom that you need to pursue, to sort of get your priorities in order. You understand?
Yes.
Okay, great. But hey, you know what? I don't like to see someone of your talents in, shall we call it information gathering? Yes, let's call it information gathering. I don't think your talent should be wasted. I want to introduce you to someone. Is that okay?
Yeah, sounds great.
Great. So you can't go dressed like that. So what I want you to do is I want you to go speak to my tailor. He's a good guy, and give him this note, and he hands you a note, and on the note it says, nice suit, this, and then underneath it says purple cummerbund and matching top hat.
Oh,
right? And he tells you that he gets all of his best work done at a place called Versailles, son. Do you know of this place?
I believe I've walked by it a time or two.
Okay, great. Then I won't need
Lower
to give you
Puddington?
direction. It is in Lower Puddington.
Yes. I know the place.
What were you doing up in Lower Puddington? I thought that was. I thought you were sort of
went for a
persona
walk.
non grata up near there by the other rich folk.
Well,
Have things improved with your family? Can ask
I
that?
usually dress up for the occasion.
I see. Well, you should dress up for this occasion for sure.
Right.
When I know that you're properly dressed, I'll make the introductions.
I actually remove my bathrobe my open bathrobe that I'm in. I put on a pair of pants.
You're heaving.
I was just eating an apple.
Light blue bird chest is like. Phineas only partially covers his eyes.
Okay. Put on some pants.
Great.
Big boy ones.
Awesome.
And a puffy shirt.
Very nice choice. I like it.
And then I'll disguise myself.
Okay.
Sometimes it takes a strong man to wear a blouse.
Yeah. It certainly makes a statement. All right, Phineas says, when you got the suit and everything, come back and I will introduce you.
Oh,
Okay, goodbye.
farewell.
Nice blouse.
Thank you.
I like it. It's a strong statement.
Excellent.
Bye. All right, so he leaves, and you head up to Versace and Son, which is in fact a place you know.
Oh.
You have walked by there a few times in a very recent memory, as it turns out. Yeah. You walk in, little bell dings on the door. Versace looks up at you. I forget. Did you actually walk in last time?
No, I went to the floors.
Okay, that's right.
That's right.
All right.
I was across.
So he
the street.
says, what's your disguise? Are you doing just a general, like, my face is different disguise, or are you going with one of your personas?
I'll go with the Baron.
Okay.
That I kind of failed on the mustache.
With the
A
circly
little.
cheeks.
Yeah.
All right. So he
Half jigsaw.
Yeah. So you walk in your disguise, in your Baron disguise, and he says, my third customer of the day. Can I help you today, sir?
Yes, I've been sent as by referral.
Oh, of course. That's how I get
from
most of my business.
A Mr. Backlund, Phineas.
Phineas Backlund, yes, he's one of my best customers. He's not afraid to pay for the best.
He gave me this to pass on to you.
Okay.
I believe I need some accoutrement.
All right. He takes the list from you and he looks it over, and then kind of looks at you and then looks over the list again, and then he puts it down, and he begins walking around the shop and sort of gathering cloth together and gathering things together. While he does so, he says, fashion has always interested me. Are you very interested in fashion?
I'm always open to it.
I can see that by your current outfit. You seem daring. Okay, is it okay if I say that? You seem daring.
Very much.
The thing about fashion is that you have to have your finger in a lot of pies, as it were. You have to have your fingers on the pulse of what is popular, because it changes. It's very mercurial, fashion.
We're still talking about clothes, right?
Yes, fashion.
Okay.
What is popular among people today may be the rubbish a week from now, even a day from now. And you have to have a nose. You have to have a nose for this sort of thing, for fashion. You have to know which trends are going to turn into something and which trends are going to lead you to ruin.
Okay.
It's quite a fascinating job that I have here.
I look at the fanciest feathery hat they have, and
yeah, take that feathery hat for example.
okay.
Did you know that no one would even think to wear feathers just 2 months ago, and now everyone has a feather stuck somewhere on their body? Fashion.
Amazing.
It changes. It changes in a heartbeat.
Octagonal cornered hats with feathers.
It's incredible. And the thing that interests me the most is how much fashion actually depends on influential people. Mm-hmm. Trendsetters like yourself, daring persons like yourself. Someone would wear a wide-brimmed white hat, and 2 weeks later, everyone is wearing wide-brimmed white hats, right? Because so-and-so wore a wide-brimmed white hat. Fashion is just such a...
I've even heard of brides that wear dresses soaked in... What were you?
Weasel.
Weasel. You're...
I haven't heard that.
It might catch on.
I'm going to give you my professional opinion on that one and say no. No, that won't catch on. Unless the urine has been boiled or something. I don't really know what the purpose of that would be.
There's a musk to it.
If you like, I could give you some pointers. My business is doing quite well, and I think that you might have a nose for fashion. If I just teach you some of the basics, you would probably be able to, I don't know, put together even a passable suit.
All right. Well, you have some things I could try on?
I do, as a matter of fact. And so he comes over And he starts measuring you with a tape. And he turns you around and sort of measures you some more, and then turns you back around and measures you some more. And then he comes over with basically some blue silk cloth, like light blue, almost baby blue, and then also some dark purple cloth. And he says, do you have a preference between these two?
The purple.
The purple. Good choice.
I'm quite blue already.
I see that. So then he waits, and you notice that his son is in there working, and there's another client sort of milling about. Well, as soon as the son, the client leaves, the son goes over and make a perception check.
Looks like 12.
12. All right. You're not entirely sure, but you think you hear the front door lock click into place.
They're gonna kidnap you.
Am I half dressed or like?
Yeah, you're wearing. I mean, you're probably in your stocking feet at this point, but you still got the blouse and the pants on. If you brought your rapier, it is draped over a chair 10 paces away from you. The son walks up.
I cast Unseen Servant.
Okay.
To go.
To
casually sit by the door, ready for my.
So you're going to cast Unseen Servant to go sit?
Daring escape.
Essentially by the door whenever I give the signal.
Okay. You start casting a spell.
Mm-hmm.
Versace looks at you immediately. His son comes up and says, an elf. Phineas is getting lazy. And Versace says, shh. There's something you could be doing in the background. Sure. And the son kind of looks at his father like he's never been snapped at before, and then walks off into the back. And the Versace turns to you and he says, okay, tip number 1, fashion tip number 1. Your disguise is painfully obvious. I knew that you were not that as soon as you walked in the door. I can teach you to do better.
That's fine. It wasn't for you.
Well, yeah,
so
I don't know.
Let's not be so vain.
I don't know who it was
take
for.
it down a couple notches.
I don't know who it was for.
The world's about me.
But you're failing.
What?
Basics number 2. Your best disguise is anonymity. So try not to make such a big statement all the time. Okay? Fashionistas make big statements, but they're very risky. And in our line of work, we cannot afford to be risky. Do you understand what I am saying to you?
Sure.
Great. Then your first task as my new apprentice is to go out and discover 3 new trends and report back to me by the end of the week.
Very well.
Excellent. I will tell Phineas that I have accepted your apprenticeship, such as it is.
Okay.
Here, put this on. And he gives you like some pants and a jacket. And he says, honestly, that disguise is grotesque.
It's not that bad.
All right.
Agree to disagree, and then I give my Unseen Servant
So the door unlocks. The door unlocks on its own. It opens for you as you're trotting out.
Right.
Sword in hand.
Right.
New jacket, new pants on. Okay. You head back to Phineas, and Phineas looks at you and he says, "Oh, good, you're not dead, my boy.
No.
How did you like it?"
I'm not dead.
Yes.
So it was a good day.
I'm assuming that he will send me a letter of your apprenticeship very shortly.
He seemed to be agreeable to that.
Oh, thank goodness. I hope he sees in you what I see in you. Sorry about the deception earlier, but I just needed to get you there, and I was afraid that if I told you to go on your own and buy something, you'd show up in one of your ghastly disguises.
What is wrong with my disguise?
They're good for the stage, but close up, They fail inspections. You can do better. We both know it. Are you telling me you can't do better than this?
I mean, I thought the crying clown was quite apt and...
At a children's party?
They
All
were
right.
serious children.
Listen, I will check in with Versace every once in a while, but from here on out, you need to report to him. He has a lot to teach you about how to get the information that you need in this city,
All right.
based on the discussion we had. He is very trustworthy, and he is very discreet, but don't tell him anything that's worth money. He also sells information to the highest bidder.
Okay.
So if you're not sure you're the highest bidder, don't tell him, your mother's maiden name or whatever.
I'm sure most of what I say is worthless anyway, so I think we're covered there.
No comment.
All right.
All right. Vesper, it's been good working with you. He puts his hand out to shake.
I'm still a producer.
Co-producer, maybe.
Okay.
We'll see when the posters come out. Give Pibby my regards.
Will do.
All right, goodbye. We hope to see you at some of the shows. Just because you don't work for us anymore doesn't mean you can't support us with a little bit of money.
I'll write you some plays.
Awesome. We'll put those with the others that you've written.
All right.
I have been suddenly put out of work, so I may not have money to go see the shows.
Okay. All right. So you head back off, and now trying to figure out what 3 trends means. You think it just means 3 juicy bits of tidbits, of knowledge on people of note.
Okay.
You're pretty sure that the wedding you just attended is going to be fertile ground indeed for such information. Okay.
Activities of some playboy at the pasta shop.
Yes.
Probably be.
Well, also, I don't know. Is that what you're going to report on?
That's one.
Is that one of the trends? Beep, 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 beep. This just in. Rich playboys like to get laid. All right. Yeah, it's really not news. You got to give him something that he hasn't heard before. Okay, Liliana, you spend the downtime pretty much carefree, walking around. You feel like you've done a good job. You feel like everything's going your way. You're an avid people watcher, and so you kind of bounce back and forth. You practice some of your new animal shapes, things like that. The only concern that you have is that you still have not yet heard from your mentor. And that it's not really concerning in and of itself, because he's gone, sometimes weeks or months without contacting you at all, and then all of a sudden he summons you or he shows up and you guys have a little powwow and he teaches you a few things and he asks you what you learned about acorns and different bark skins and stuff like that. But this time, what's concerning you is that you have specifically requested, like, hey, I need to talk to you about some stuff, and he just hasn't responded. And so you're wandering around one day and you're sort of mulling that over in your mind and trying to figure out what you need to do next, and maybe even planning a trip out to somewhere near the stone cairn, because he lives out there somewhere, but you're not exactly sure where. You suddenly find yourself 15 feet away from the front door to the oak pit, to Magda Oakentooth's little curio shop. The big tree that's been hollowed out. She just sort of sits in it.
The musky oak pit.
Yeah, and she says, "Hey, Druid, where's my purpleberry hawthorn root that you promised?"
I didn't promise.
Oh yes, we had a deal.
Oh.
It takes a certain kind of someone to say they're going to do something and then just not.
Magda.
You know what that makes you?
I got a little busy.
A flim flam.
It is on my list of things to do.
Oh, it's on your list? Let's see the list.
It's in here.
Oh, by itself, I'm presuming.
I mean, I may have written.
Listen, if you want
In any case, I'm not going by myself. I had to wait until we completed another task, and then our guild's gonna go.
Okay, that's fine, but I thought you just wanted the recipe to the potion.
Well, that too, but...
Don't you want to make all of your animal friends bigger and more fluffy or whatever? We need purpleberry hawthorn root for that.
I know.
And there's only one place that it grows, Scalebolg.
Right.
We had this discussion like 2 weeks ago.
I,
What have you been doing with your list?
well, we kind of had some emergencies come up.
I understand. Life sometimes puts obstacles in your way.
I have plans to go though this week.
Yeah, flim flams make plans. That's the saying here in Arragas.
I mean, don't
You know what a
have
flim flam is?
somebody to
It's someone who-
insult?
Yes,
Other
she's
than me.
standing right in front of me, as it turns out.
I think I've maybe got some Shadespeare, but
I don't want Shadespeare. I want purpleberry hawthorn root.
Okay, I'll go. Jeez. Hey, have you seen Ortholos?
No? Why would that old druid come around here?
I was just curious.
He and I
haven't
bicker
been
too
for a
much.
while.
He
Okay.
doesn't like the city. That's why I moved in here.
I know. If you hear from him, let him know I'm looking.
I'll do that. I'll put that on all the other things I want to tell flim flams when they walk in front of my. And then she pauses for a second. I'll kill your impudence, sir, with a salve. No. Anyway, listen. If you don't bring me that purpleberry hawthorn root within the next 4 days, I'll find someone else, and I'll pay them your gold. Didn't you say that you needed some money?
No.
Well, maybe I'm thinking of some other flim flam.
I mean, I need some purpleberry hawthorn root.
Oh, big surprise for your big plans.
Well, I mean, for brewing stuff.
Listen,
I was saying I'm going to get some, so while I'm out there, I'll grab you some too.
right? So now you've promised it twice and delivered 0 times.
I mean, it's kind of like, oh, I'm stopping by the coffee shop sometime. You want me to pick you up a coffee? It's
Don't-
just,
Why are you being so coy about this? You made a deal with me, and now you're trying to go back on it.
I think you're kind of like overstating what I said.
And I think you're about this close to being a double flim flam.
Oh, hush.
Double flame.
4 days.
Okay.
4 days on finding someone else.
As long as the world doesn't end in the next 4 days, I'll try to get out there, okay? How are you doing, by the way?
It's fine.
Good?
Do you want some powder for those blemishes under your nose?
Nah, I'm good.
Okay. Well, just remember, an ugly flim flam is still a flim flam.
All right. You're so weird. All right, I'll let you know when I got it.
She's not laughing. I'm laughing. You're just like, it's just water off a duck's back with Liliana. It's just water off a duck's back. Okay, so you head back to Scalebolg. All right, so this has all happened over, pick a day over the 4 days.
Quick question.
Yes.
You did say that the Scalebolg swamp is fairly dangerous.
Oh yeah, no, it's dangerous. Yeah,
Okay.
There's lizard people.
there are
I was
tons
making
of lizard
sure
folk
I
out
was
there.
not, mistaken that this is just something I could go do. I thought, I probably should have backup.
No, yeah. You
Okay.
need to go with people. You should not go out there alone.
Making sure. Okay.
Yeah, there are tribes of lizard folk out in Scalebolg, which is basically a super swampy, forest, and there's literally hundreds of them out there, and the only reason that they don't overrun the city is because they're too busy fighting each other most of the time, and they range in what do I want to say in politics from willing to trade with people from Arragas and trying to kill you on sight so that they can cook your meat and eat it.
Cool.
And then they just take your stuff and then they trade that to whoever else.
Yeah, so backup is warranted.
Yes. Oh, yeah. You definitely want people to go with you when you head out into Scalebolg.
And I feel like I've asked a couple times, but other things were more pressing, so I wasn't lying.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. All right. So you guys head back eventually to Sableguard. Oh, I'm so we skipped something, didn't we, Vesper? Didn't Pippi put together a Sable Aid concert to try to get some of the burned areas of the Sableguard Guild
Get us
fixed?
a fourth wall and
Yeah. All right. So we'll say that also during that time, Pippi, goes around and does some shows, and she raises a lot of money. She raises enough money that construction is well underway. There's some new lumber outside, and They've even hired some workers so that because Vance wants to keep his talent out in the field, like earning money. So he's not going to ask you guys to, pick up a hammer and some iron nails and start carpenting.
God help us if I did.
Yeah, he's not.
I'm not sure anyone in our party would be good for that.
Right. Yeah, Vesper would probably need to hire a guy to hire a guy.
I would mage hand
hire.
all.
Yeah.
I could manage.
Yeah.
I have good managerial skills.
That's right.
I mean, eventually Liliana could do it, but it would really just be a bunch of trees. That's the wood. That would be our walls.
Yeah.
It would be like the...
What are you doing? I'm planting
Rainforest
a new wall.
Cafe style disabled bird.
It would basically be me, I guess.
Yeah. All right. So you guys all meet back up at Sable Guard. It's the evening of the first Givney Day of the Lover's Moon. It's late at night. You guys have all had your various time to spend with loved ones and friends and business associates and possibly new mentors. Some of you have gotten in a little bit of trouble, and some of you have managed to stay out of trouble. When you get there, Vance has a few small jobs, but he basically asks you guys, "Hey, when you're traipsing around out in the city, has anybody drummed up any new leads for some money to be made? We always want to fill our coffers."
Yeah.
Oh, Liliana, all right. What's the job?
Going out to Scalebolg to grab some materials, yeah.
Going out to Scalebolg, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Who's the client?
Good.
Magda.
Ogda, wasn't Ogda the...
Ogda the Bog Witch.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Probably her cousin.
Can't remember.
Actually, they are sisters.
Oh, God.
We'll reveal more
Getting
about
your
that later.
Old crones mixed up.
It's for the oak pit.
Oh, that old woman?
I mean, she
Are you sure she's going to pay? You're not going to show up here with a pile of trinkets and half-assed salves that don't work, right?
I mean...
Oh, Liliana.
I mean, she said she was going to give gold.
She said gold? Fine. We can find a way to make that legally binding.
And probably also some potion recipes, which are really useful whenever we're doing jobs.
No. New business opportunity. Yeah. We could open up like a little potion cabaret.
I mean...
Let people try some new concoction.
I was thinking more of like keeping us alive when we go do dangerous things.
Oh.
I mean, like I've got my little story.
Very few of our jobs are dangerous. We
I mean, we're going
Okay, we're going to Scalebolg though.
Well, that's one of your jobs. I am not enforcing you to go.
I'm just saying.
All right. Well,
Potions are always.
You going to start tomorrow? What are you recovering out there? Like an old wagon or something that's been stuck in the mud, or?
I mean,
I can't imagine that Magda has anything out there of any real value. She's a scavenger.
Gather purple hawthorn berry
root. Purpleberry hawthorn root.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I
fine.
mean, it only grows there, so.
All right. Everybody, make a perception check.
Seriously.
We'll start with the main day.
15.
15. Good job.
Pass.
Macaria?
9.
9?
15.
I almost
Good job,
proceed.
Vesper.
I am so distracted.
Okay, so
7.
Kethra and Vesper notice that when you guys talk about that you're going out to Scalebolg, Kurga actually perks up and starts listening. He didn't say anything. He doesn't, throw an axe at your head, Vesper. I'm talking to you. Okay. But he also is not like. I mean, you guys both see him like perk up and like listen, and then when he notices you guys have noticed him, then he just sort of goes back to doing what he's working on. Yeah. Okay.
Doesn't seem sketchy at all.
It's not sketchy. It's Kurga, the second in command. He's technically one of your bosses. He's a supervisor. All right.
I sneak up behind him and look over his shoulder.
You don't sneak up behind. Okay, you want to roll for it?
Yeah.
All right. You don't. Yeah.
I'm very distracted. Notice nothing about him, and I'm like, and we can use like backup, so
I am wildly distracted.
23.
Oh! I rolled a 27. You don't sneak up behind him.
Oh.
All right, man. For a second, though, I thought you were going to be like 28. I was like, oh my god, you sneak up behind him. Okay, so you walk over to Kurga. He is busy. Well, he probably wouldn't hide it from you. He's busy picking a lock over and over and over again, like to see how fast he can do it. And he looks up at you and he says, "I'm trying to build a better lock. It's research."
I pinch him on the hiney and I walk away.
No, you don't. His hiney is covered with a whole number of pointy and slashy objects.
I mage hands.
No.
And
Pinch him on the hiney and run away.
He doesn't like you. You know he doesn't
Exactly.
like you.
Right.
You know he doesn't like you. All right, so you guys all go to sleep.
All right.
With
one eye open.
With wherever you choose to sleep, you can always you can stay at Scalebolg, or you guys can head off to your various bunks and houses and things of those nature. On the agreement that you will meet here tomorrow morning and head out to Scalebolg to pick up some purpleberry hawthorn root and head back. Shouldn't take more than an afternoon.
A nonce, if you will.
Yes, a nonce. That's correct. All right, so you guys go and sleep. You wake up the next morning. You have a quick or slow breakfast. That's up to you, and depending on how early your character gets up in the morning, you guys meet up at Scalebolg and you head out into Scalebolg. The first thing you do is you pass the very fertile black mud farming grounds. This is a place where Arragas grows most of its really cool stuff. Like so Arragas has a bunch of wheat and a bunch of gourds, right? So all kinds of pumpkins and squash and all that kind of stuff. That's ample, right? It also doesn't taste incredibly good, but the silt and everything that has gathered from where the Arundel River has bled into Scalebolg, there's just a whole bunch of really rich, fertile farmland on the very southern end of it next to the ocean. So you guys are going to walk past that to go deeper into the swamp, right? Deeper into the bottom.
Is it actually muddy?
It is, yeah. It's actually a very deep mud, and they actually build these little boxes that keep the plants from drowning in too much of the water. It's pretty neat, but they grow a bunch of berries and all kinds of really nice fruits and other things out there.
I put on my boot covers, which are just 2 sacks.
Okay.
Because my flaw is a neat freak.
2 wealthy
essentially.
Sacks. 2 silken sacks.
Whatever.
It's okay. They're not good silk. It's not
2
good silk.
Walmart bags.
Yeah.
as long as I don't get messy.
Yeah. All right. So you.
I would have also swapped out some spells. Is there a bunch of poison out there?
There are poisonous creatures out there, and if you eat the wrong thing, there are poisons out there. But it's not like
Poison
it's
shields are coming in great this year.
It's not like if you touch the wrong tree, you'll get poisoned by the bark.
I mean, I was just checking.
I've been
would she think that she would need?
So there are giant scorpions out there.
Okay.
Everybody knows about that. There are also dragon wasps, which are not poisonous, but the giant scorpions are. Some of the lizard folk tribes use poison on their weapons.
You had me at giant scorpions.
Yeah.
Let's take the poison thing.
Yeah. So
Okay.
some of the lizard folk tip their weapons in poison, and the poisons have different effects depending on which tribe you're talking about. Some of them just make you crap your pants really bad for 3 days. Others of them will kill you after just a couple hours.
Wait a minute. I am immune to disease.
Awesome.
I just
Poison
waltz
and
right.
disease
I'll
are
just
2 different
waltz right
things.
through the swamp. Yeah, I know. But if I get bit by anything, and
Yeah, poison and disease are different. Though.
I'm pretty okay. I'm not going to get malaria out here.
Cool.
Nice.
Yep.
Thank you, being religious.
Yeah. You just open up a piece of your armor and just put mosquitoes land here.
Yep.
Like you got little arrows, like a little helicopter pad.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and be like a target for everyone to absorb. all
Okay,
the
yeah.
mosquitoes.
So Kethra, you can also switch out
We'll have
spells if you
pineapple
need to.
Yeah. Attract
For
mosquitoes.
a day in the swamp. All right, so you guys head out. You walk past the ample farmlands. There is a millipole contingency out here because although they are rare, Some of the more aggressive lizard folk tribes have been known to try to raid the farmlands, and it's not for the crops; it's for the farmers, right? And they will grab 2 or 3 people and drag them off into the swamp, and hold them underwater until they stop squiggling so much, and then keep them underwater until they're nice and pickled.
Lovely.
Delicious.
Yes, very delicious. So you guys travel for, we'll say, an hour. Everyone who wants to make a nature check, with the exception of Liliana, who has special rules for finding the plant she wants.
Oh.
Go ahead and make a knowledge nature. I guess it'll be intelligence nature check.
I mean,
I'm gonna keep a lookout.
it's not a.
Okay, so you're not actually looking for plants.
All right.
So,
Because Liliana has given you a basic description of what you're looking for: purpleberry hawthorn bushes.
Got a 6.
You should have a negative on the.
Yeah, I don't actually know what
I
that
feel
is.
like.
Yeah.
All right.
She's like,
I
that's a
don't
bush
say-
with
Yeah.
purpleberries on it.
Vesper gets disadvantage on nature checks.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because it's icky. He doesn't really want to
Doesn't get
succeed.
No. 6
So,
and an 8.
so the purple berries are bitter, but they're edible. They're like cranberries. Like if you mix them with enough sugar or whatever, then you can get a usable topping out of them, or like a dressing. But the berries themselves have no medicinal or magical properties to them. But the roots of the bushes can be boiled in a special way, and then an oil comes out of them, and you collect that oil, and the oil can be used.
I was gonna say,
Special oil.
specifically because we were coming out here,
Mhm.
I also took this spell, find animals or plants, locate animals or plants.
Okay.
So I could also do it that.
Okay, great.
But I'd probably try without it first.
Okay, great. Well, I believe I gave you some rules about what you need to roll to find and harvest the purpleberry
Is it
hawthorn.
under the specific
Yeah,
one?
so what you'll do is, purpleberry hawthorn, and it's a DC 15 to find and a DC 15 to collect.
Okay, finding is
It's survival. Survival check.
to locate.
Could-
Okay.
Yep.
And then.
And then collecting it is a nature check.
Okay. So survival.
Could I ride on the shoulders of an unseen servant, like that old footage of Teddy Roosevelt on like those jungle safaris? Like he never crossed a river, like he just rode on some servant's back.
they probably would have to carry you
Yeah,
in their arms.
and I'll even be
I thought they
looking
could
for
only
berries. Like
carry a certain.
I think that would probably be okay, because I think that you're probably light enough for the unseen servant to do something like that. But keep in mind how that's going to look to other people and anyone you run into in the swamps.
I'll walk behind you doing this.
You're
just
flying
because.
around basically with your legs spread like this, bouncing up and down while the unseen servant runs through the muck.
right,
Heading into the swamp crotch first.
Yeah, basically crotch out. Yeah.
15 to find.
Paint a big
Okay.
target.
You do in fact find a couple roots. Go ahead and roll a die 4.
Right.
4.
All right, so you find 4 purpleberry hawthorn roots,
Okay.
which is probably enough to make the potion. Actually, how many is it?
2 per. 2 per potion.
So you would be able to make. It's not 2 per potion. It's the potion costs 250, and 2 of them reduces that cost by 50 gold. So you would need, what is that? 5. You would need 10 roots total to make 1 potion if you want to completely reduce this to 0.
Oh. That's
Right?
confusing, but okay.
Yeah, I know. Herbalism is always really confusing, and that's why there's not a whole bunch of herbalists in the city. Only the most intelligent and
stinkiest.
well, no, not stinkiest, but let's just say that we just say that not any flim flam can
Me
be
and
an
Maggie,
herbalist.
you know.
Well, okay. All right, so write down that you've got 4 roots. You can put that on your on the back of this sheet or somewhere, wherever you want. You got 4 roots. Now, how many of these roots do you plan on selling to Magda?
Oh, I
Just
mean,
50%, or are you going to wait till you see how many you harvest?
yeah.
Okay. All right, so you guys travel deeper into the swamp for about an hour.
I'd like to pay attention for any
Wild dogs.
giant animals.
I don't know what she's doing right now.
I don't know what she's
It's
doing either.
really
It's so weird.
Evidence of other things.
Okay, go ahead and make a perception check. What other things? Anything
Like
specific?
lizard folk,
Creatures
if
or
there's,
something.
lizard
Okay.
man turds.
What did you guys roll on your... was anybody also looking for purpleberry hawthorn root?
Yeah, I rolled a 10.
Yeah, I got
Okay.
a 7.
Okay, yeah, all right. So you guys don't find any before she...
I guess
You
I'll
realize-
look.
Yeah,
Like,
you realize...
it looks like this.
Yeah, you realize now...
I did not find it.
Yeah, you realize now that the reason... Like, you guys were imagining, like, bushes, and it turns out that they're, like, little shrubbery, like those...
Right.
Those Japanese trees that only grow, like, this tall, that you clip all the time.
Yeah, I told her I was
Yeah,
looking.
they're tiny.
But my
Bonsais.
3 indicates
Bonsai,
I
yeah,
did
bonsai.
not.
I got 16.
Purpleberry. Okay, so you spot another bush. Go ahead and roll a die for her.
1.
All right. Unfortunately, it's not a purpleberry hawthorn bush. It's a purpleberry, elm seed bush. They're very similar, but an herbalist would know.
I pick
Good-
it up anyways.
Good job. Oh yeah, here you go. Here's some more.
Unseen
Okay.
servant does.
Yeah.
While you're writing
Mage
about
hand.
this.
This is mage
All
hand.
right. So while
I
you guys
mage
are
hand
out
to pick
harvesting,
things up.
Oh, there you go.
oh, you know what? I
So,
you
yes.
roll for the harvest. We'll just say the first aura free. All right. So you go ahead for another hour, make another roll. Everybody make a perception check.
All right.
Perception or
roll.
roll?
No, not you. You're rolling to look for the.
Oh no!
Everyone else.
Oh, man.
No.
I was also going
It's
to
okay.
say
If I'm gonna roll one of these,
Sounds
I might as
like
well
a
do it on
one.
a perception
Never
check.
It's not very good.
I'm gonna trip over some brooms.
Where did all these
What are
brooms
you
No,
come
where does it
from?
come from?
You don't see the
Why are there
brooms.
brooms in the swamp? It's too wet for brooms. We need mops out here. Mops.
Duh.
That was only
6. I got a 16.
So I'm having
All
trouble
right.
finding.
16.
I got it.
13. Good job. 12. Good job. 1. Yeah, natural 1. Okay. So Kethra doesn't notice anything, but the rest of you,
It's got some mud.
From my higher vantage point.
yeah, slightly higher. You're actually not as high as Arister,
Right.
because he's just even standing. He's taller than you on top of your unseen servant.
Did you bring your horse?
Into the swamp?
No, that
That's
was
right.
terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, we've all seen Never Ending Story.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. Artax is the name of the
Artax is the
Oh,
horse.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Artax, no. Artax, cheer up. A horse walks into a bar. The bartender says, "My
I would never let Arden Stride give in to the nothing.
Yeah.
Guys,
That's for sure.
keep an eye out for me. If we start getting in bad territory, I can make us stealthy.
Well,
Okay.
this whole area is bad territory.
Right.
Not
Yeah.
all of it.
All right.
It's got
So
charm.
the
Right
three
there.
of you, yeah.
Bad.
You think that off in the distance you saw some movement through the swamp, but when you guys all stopped and actually looked in that direction, all the movement quit.
Swamp cloud.
It's often mistaken for light from Venus.
Could be.
Do y'all tell me that?
Probably.
Yes.
And you'd probably see me grab
And I also-
for my sword the second I see the movement, anyways.
Ho friends, off in the distance. I sense a disturbance.
Hmm.
In the fog.
I also tell you you're fired
Fuck
as
that.
quest suggester.
Hey, this is going to be lucrative.
I
Yeah.
did give up
Good
my
for us.
position guarding the city in order to guard you. So,
That's not true. You've run enough patrols this week to
have I met my
to
quota?
fill your quota. Yeah.
Okay.
Of course
I still
you did.
feel bad.
You're heiress.
You basically, and actually, now that you've
Volunteers
started
for work.
doing the patrols, you realize, hey, this would be a really good way for me to track down people that I am looking for, and I can just range all over the whole city if I want to, as
All
long as
right.
I'm patrolling.
Well,
As long as I'm patrolling.
Yeah, I'll keep my eyes open.
All right, so
Um,
are you going to continue looking, or are you going to give up the search now that there's movement? Because you're pretty sure that they're not farmers or anything. Like you're an hour plus away from the city. You're deep into the swamp at this point. There are lizard folk and all kinds of things abounding out here.
I'm purely focused on
No.
our surroundings. I suck at haberdashery, so
I mean, I would probably keep searching unless like everybody was like, there's something bad, we need to leave, I would probably kind of
Okay,
ignore
well, you
that.
guys can't make out whatever it was moving. You just saw some movement. And then
Yeah, and I didn't see anything.
Yeah,
Were you
yeah.
guys talking
Kev was
about-
like, they're,
Well, you
they're
could make
making
a sneaky. if
Stop
you're
trying to
worried about
scare
it.
us, you guys.
Yeah.
It's not funny.
Okay, guys, so my options are I can make us all sneaky, or I can cast a spell that will help me locate these plants a lot faster.
I suggest the second.
Yeah, the speed one sounds good.
Oh, okay. Whatever direction you saw stuff in, I guess let's look in the other one. And I
I was
cast.
planning
What's the
on using
range
my...
on locate plants?
Okay,
Or does it just tell you, like, go in this direction and you will eventually find some?
I will check.
Okay.
I planned on just using my signal horn and then having whatever enemies.
Do not blow
Charge
a
us.
signal horn out
Oh my
here.
gosh.
No.
Then we
No,
will
good.
fight them off and then make our way back to the city.
See, the thing is, like, all of the scorpions are kind of attracted to the sound waves in the ground. That would be bad.
see. Well,
Yeah.
Would it be
And-
bad to play a
and the-
traveling tune?
if
The,
we
gi- the giant
are required to
scorpions.
slay giant
Oh,
scorpions.
No.
Guys, I really don't want to see giant
Yeah,
scorpions.
the giant
I'm gonna be
scorpions are
real.
probably
Like,
about this big, and
You
their
remember
tails
how
come
I
up
said
about
I could
forearm
cast the
willing.
spell to find this quickly or make you sneaky? Like, since I'm not making you sneaky, try to be sneaky.
Yeah. You gotta
Oh,
try
I'm
this.
really good at that.
Bull.
I
Just
got
like
this.
try to be quiet.
got this.
My servant has
What's
unseen.
the would
I
a
think it's
broom make in
locate,
the mud?
isn't it?
Because I feel like it'd be
Locate
okay.
animals and plants.
I want to look for defensible
Okay, here we go.
positions.
Okay.
Locate animals.
Like a dry
or
spot.
Plants. Specific kind of beast or plant concentrating on the voice of nature in your surroundings. You learn the direction and distance to the closest creature or plant of that kind within 5 miles if any are present.
All right.
Nice.
Good job. Okay,
It's a
so
big-ass
five
radius.
miles. That's over an hour away. All right, you locate.
Oh, and I cast. Do we have 10 minutes? Because I can cast it as a ritual.
Do you guys want to wait 10 minutes while she
We are standing
does
out
the,
here.
Yeah.
does the dance and everything?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Go for it.
All right, so she begins bouncing around and picking up daisies and twisting them into little people that she then
Scraping little circles in the,
Yeah.
the swamp mud.
yes, which don't stay as long as you'd like, but they stay long enough.
They're there.
All right, so you then calm down, you close your eyes, you listen to the voice of nature, and the voice of nature tells you that about an hour in that direction, and that's of course away from the city.
That's the closest?
That's the closest one. You will find what you seek. Purple-berry hawthorn.
Man, these things are rare.
Yeah, that's why they're worth so much money.
Okay. So there's one an hour that way.
An hour's
Well, some. Don't say one. Some, because
Because
how many you gather is up to your collection roll.
What time is it?
It's early morning still. You guys have. It's not even lunch yet.
Yeah.
We'll be fine. Let's go.
Yeah.
You guys cool? We just need to like.
trudge through a swamp.
Yeah.
Very well.
I mean, you're not scared of getting dirty, right?
I know no fear, if that's what you mean.
That's the right answer. I know no fear. All right. So you guys, on the advice of Liliana, you guys travel further from Arragas.
Mhm.
All right. You get out about a half hour away, and
Hold on just a second. I believe that it's like it tells you where it is and that I know, right?
It's like
not
a ping.
it says distance,
Yeah, it's
direction,
not-
and distance.
It's not concentration or anything, so.
Oh, yeah, you
I
just
will
know,
cast,
We'll go straight there.
I'm gonna go ahead and cast Pass Without a Trace on us to try to keep us kind of quiet, so we don't attract lizard folk.
Okay.
Animals will, have blind sight and stuff, but lizard folk.
Well, and that one lasts an hour, right?
Keep
Uh-huh.
us
The
from being
perfect.
too like
Uh-huh.
town smell.
Well, we leave no trace, so yeah,
Nice.
they can't smell us. I don't think.
Lizards have highly developed olfactory senses.
They sure do.
They
Do
use them
they?
to
Does
communicate.
Arister know all about that?
No.
I don't know how up on the lizard
Yeah.
folk I am.
I don't know.
I know a lot about lizard man physiology, though.
Yeah. He read a book. He minored in it at Paladin School.
That's right.
Can
Along
you
with,
speak
the
lizard
gravel.
folk? Because
Lizard
just saying.
Well, you
Kevin
can.
can?
What?
Yeah! Oh,
Why
that's
do
that's
I
a
why do you
need
have
to talk to them?
Hey, Kethra,
I don't know why we need to talk to them.
Because I wanted to go out here to try and convert them to the Church of Ara.
That is correct. That is correct.
I felt
remember
like
now.
it was a niche.
Did
that
you
just wasn't
did you write
tapped.
down a color? Does it just say lizard folk, or did you write down like brown lizard folk or green lizard folk? Or
Green.
Okay, good job.
I wrote down
Excellent.
green.
That was the right choice.
Yeah, we can't be tracked except by magical means. It lasts for an hour, and you guys need to stay within 30 feet of me.
Excellent. You mean, wait,
All right.
you mean you need to stay within 30 feet of me. Because...
I mean,
And then she turns into a panther and runs.
I'm not gonna like run off.
All right, so you guys travel for an
Stay within
hour
30 feet of me.
without drawing any, or as far as you know, drawing any sort of attention to yourselves from a tracking / people following you perspective. You discover a purple berry hawthorn bush. Roll
Okay.
your nature check to collect
All right.
some roots.
Oh my god, I'm switching dice. That one was terrible.
Some roots, Amanda. She's collecting some roots.
Roots.
Not roots.
Not
Those are
roots.
from a different plant.
Alright.
Some roots.
It like rolled over.
What'd you get?
9.
Okay, you are unable to acquire any usable roots from this particular bush. They're either malformed, or the knife slipped or something, and you cut them in half, or
Can I get advantage just because I've already done this?
once.
Yeah.
No.
If I could give
No.
you a reroll token, I would.
Yeah.
But I cannot.
All right. Do you want to cast another locate plants or whatever, or do you want to continue searching? At this point, it's almost high noon. Or no, it's just after Tears.
Anyone have
So
some
basically
guidance
mid morning.
for her?
I'd like to.
No, I don't.
I'd
have
like
that
to
one.
inspire her with the bardic.
I could
Bardic
whisper
hymn.
sanctuary.
Well, only
We've got
do that
time.
right
We can
before I
memorize
do
guidance
something.
real quick. With the
Well,
short
you-
rest, right?
Okay,
'Cause it
No,
only lasts
guidance is a
minute,
catnip.
it's 10 minutes.
It is a catnip.
I didn't take it.
Oh.
Well, let me know.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
the
know
one,
any
I'm the one
spellcasting.
with guidance, so,
Sure.
but I can't cast it on myself, so
Man.
I just don't think I can.
All right. While you guys are looking around, after the Pass Without Trace has worn off, and you guys are looking around, make a perception check. Everyone who's looking around. I believe in you. Somebody perceive.
Ten.
I rolled poorly.
We perceive equally.
Hold it.
Ha! I got a 17.
It is not my.
All right. 17's a good roll.
I have not rolled above a 10, I don't think, tonight.
Man, thank goodness
One time.
we've been wasting these on non-combat
There's another
rolls, right?
set in there if that one's being bad.
Oh man, I'm switching.
12? Okay.
For sure.
Amanda, you... Basically, everybody's watching, and Liliana's trying to, like, figure out which way is the best way to go, you know, based on the sun and the shadows and everything else.
I will recast locate plants as a ritual.
Okay, so she begins recasting
Doing
the thing. She starts singing and doing her thing and drawing the circles. And you see a green... you see a lizard-shaped humanoid step out from behind a tree, kind of, and he seems to be regarding your whole party, right? He's blinking really wide, and he's turning his head back and forth. And his scales are kind of an emerald green on the top that blends into a light green on the bottom. And he's kind of looking at everyone, and you notice that there are about 4 others in sort of a semicircle around your party. And he looks out. I mean, he doesn't look like he's trying to hide necessarily, but he is making himself more visible. He is also carrying a spear in one hand, as are all of the other lizard men.
Okay, I get really, really excited about this.
Okay.
And this may not be the best decision, but Kethra is gonna go. Hello! Hi guys!
In lizard.
Yes,
lizard
in
folk?
green lizard
All right.
book.
So all of them kind of flinch for a second, and then the one that's looking at you says, "You make speech?"
Yes, I do. How are you today?
What foul beasts are these?
We have been.
Yeah, the rest of us are like, what is happening?
Yeah.
I'm going like
Like you guys hear like
And pull out my shield?
yeah.
You speak lizard.
So he says.
I cast guidance on Kethra. I'm like, keep going.
Okay. All right. He says.
That's next.
We have hunted for 3 days. No luck.
What are you guys hunting for?
Food. We are very hungry.
I have some food you can have if you have a minute to talk about Ara, our Lord and Savior.
I know not this name, but trade?
Sure.
Fair trade?
Well, you can just have the food.
Kethra, just say the word and I will slay this beast.
Stop. Stay. Arister, go
What?
back. You can just have it.
He looks
You're
at
hungry.
Arister. Your friend is shiny.
He is very stringy, and
Aw.
he would not taste very good.
Okay,
He's
so
very
he
old.
comes out. He says to the other ones, he says fair trade. He says you guys hear like right, but he's telling everyone else fair trade. And so they all just come out and they basically move towards Kethra. And then the one that you were talking to squats down in the mud and pulls out like a straw mat that has been tightly woven together.
Okay.
And he flicks it out, and it's probably about 2 foot by 2 foot.
Mm-hmm.
And when it hits the water, like the surface of the bog,
Yeah.
it floats. Like it doesn't sink. Like the way it's made to float. And so he pulls out a couple trinkets, and he pulls out like a couple of coins, and you're not really sure what all the coins are from or where he's gotten them.
I
Does
really
he
like
pull out
that.
any root?
And no, he doesn't pull out any roots. But
What's he doing?
then he
It's okay,
motions
guys.
to
It's
the other
okay.
guys.
I got this.
To the other lizard folk, and they come over, and one of them pulls off like an arm bracelet that looks to be made out of bronze, and lays it on the mat. And then they all kind of, there's like just this. They just accumulate this tiny little pile of just basically baubles and trinkets with a few coins and a piece of jewelry in it.
Okay, I'm going to turn to the group. And
They're
we're
showing us the trinkets they've taken from
No,
slaying
Arister,
individuals
no. Okay.
and are attempting to take ours.
No, they're
Okay.
not. They want to trade. So this is probably
For
a good
what?
way. And if they said they're very hungry and they have not eaten. And so I said I would just give them my food, but I don't think that's culturally what they do. So they want to trade stuff. Does anyone have any extra food we can give
I do.
them? Like, anybody?
I have some rations.
Yeah, we could give them rations. They said
I've
they
got
were
lots of
hungry.
jerky. I take jerky all the time, yeah. Here.
Okay.
I'll
Okay.
give her my jerky.
So do I have a blanket?
Ask them if they have any of this root.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll pull out the root and hand it to Kethra and ask
Okay.
her to ask them if they know where this is or if they have any.
Okay. Okay, so I turn back to the lizard people.
Okay.
And I've got the food. Do I have a blanket? I don't know. Yeah, I do have a blanket. Okay, so I put a blanket on the ground, which of course sinks, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I put a blanket on the ground, trying to do the same thing, and I squat
Okay.
down and I put all the food out.
Okay.
And then,
You put a blanket. So you're putting a blanket down to put your stuff on.
yes.
Okay, wait. Before you do that, I thought you were putting out a blanket like as to trade. Before you do that, make a let's call it a history or no. Let's call it an insight check, because you probably, since you took the time to learn the Lizardman language, you probably were also taught the very few things that the brothers and sisters of Ara knew about lizard folk tribes.
Right.
Are you sure it's not animal handling?
Nope, it better be inside. Better not be animal handling. Oh, I got an 11.
Okay, so all right, so you place your blanket down and start putting stuff on the blanket, and the lizard man looks at your blanket and kind of blinks and turns his head and he says, two trades, separate trade. And you get the idea that you're supposed to put your stuff on, that whatever you're trading for all goes on the mats.
Oh,
So now he thinks you're opening a second
No.
trade window
I'm sorry.
in World
I
Warcraft.
just, right, yes. I have now opened a new trade.
And he's like,
oh,
what?
no, I'm
Be
sorry.
uncommon.
So I take my stuff off the blanket and I put
Okay.
it on his blanket.
Okay.
And
All
I pretend like I knew what I was doing, and I like sit on my blanket like I did this on purpose.
Okay, yeah. You sink down into the swamp a little bit, but the blanket like slooshes up around you and keeps mud from getting on you. The blanket's probably going to be a little
we're
dirty,
gonna
though.
burn that.
Okay, so what have you offered him?
Food, rations,
Can totally get us more food. Don't worry.
I'm gonna offer him, maybe a couple candles. I've got a couple candles on me.
Candles.
I don't know. I'm trying to think what I have in my skin that might be
I
useful.
have a pickaxe.
I've got a net.
You
These
gonna
guys
offer up your net?
Seem like they would benefit from a net.
If you want to throw the net on the table, Arister, that's your call.
I did, pay a lot for this net. It's high quality.
Well, then why would you bring it up if you weren't
Net.
gonna?
Yeah, they just wanted food, right?
Well, I just want to get a good trade for it.
I could draw a picture of an attractive
Guys,
lizard lady,
You might
like
be
a
making this
pin-up,
more
a pin-up
complicated.
lizard lady.
Okay, so I will tell you
the
this.
net out for
I will tell you
trade.
this. So her jerky is the right stuff. So when you put out rations, the guy, the lizard folk guy that's trading with you, like he picks up like the hardtack and like the cheese or whatever, and when he smells it, he's just like, ugh, and he throws it off the mat,
Oh, okay.
like into the
so
mud.
we don't want.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, you
that's
can
fine.
get it. They're
And now
wrapped.
it's covered in
They're
mud.
carnivorous.
no, they're wrapped.
carnivorous lizard people.
Yeah, that's
They're
not
carnivorous.
that's not, so
Carnivore.
basically every 3 rations that you put on the mat is going to be 1 ration for them of meat. Did you give them actual jerky?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how much did you give them?
Well, pretty much every day I put bacon or jerky in my pocket at
Uh,
breakfast. So
It's pocket jerky.
Yeah, the lizard folk will love it.
I
They actually will.
seriously
Yeah,
do.
they will.
because I deal with animals all the time, I always have.
Okay, so
Bunches
let's
of jerky.
In
call
a
it
greasy
let's
spot
call
on the
it
front of your
we'll call it
plate.
3 days or 3 persons worth of rations just from her jerky.
Okay.
And there are 5 lizard folk in front of you.
Okay.
So you can feed 3 of them for 1 day with the amount of jerky that she gave to you without the rations yet. So how many rations are you putting out?
Oh my gosh, I need to refill my jerky.
But
bag.
there has to be the meat part of the ration.
Yeah.
Right?
They won't take the cheese or the bread.
Yeah, so I put down 2 of my meat
Okay.
rations.
Okay. Anybody else adding meat to the pile?
Yeah, I'll
Did
do
you want
that.
a meat pile, guys?
Are you adding your net to the pile?
I'll put the net in.
All right, so the lizard guy is basically like pawing all the meat, like looking through, and it looks like he's just kind of feeling them and looking for like nasty bits or whatever. But he doesn't find he seems very happy with what you put out. And then Arister places a net on the mat, and the lizard guy looks at the net and looks up at you, and he immediately turns to the others and he says a word that you don't understand quite. But you can tell that he's like very excited, like, and he's like waving at the guys, right? So they look on the mat and see the net, and then they start like digging through everything and putting more trinkets and more stuff onto the and more coins
Ask
onto the
them for the
mat.
root.
Oh goodness, ask them for the root.
Do
That's what we
you-
really need.
Something we would be willing to trade is for this net, for example. You don't have to give us all your trinkets, but if you know where we could just find this root.
He looks at the root and he says, "Ugh, no, root, bad eat.
It is very gross to eat, you are correct.
No,
But you don't know where there is any.
not root. No,
Okay.
we hunt animal meat.
Right,
Meat.
right, yes. Meat is delicious, isn't it?
Yes, very much.
Do you know, Ara has blessed us with this meat.
Which one is Ara?" And he starts looking at all your friends.
No, Ara is up there. You can't see her.
He
She's
looks up,
invisible.
and all the lizardmen look up, and they're like, "Invisible Ara gives you meat,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
and you give meat to us.
Yes.
Cool."
I can work with this.
Man, lizard man for cool must be an awesome word.
Yeah, it's
So
like
let
it's
it-
probably like
Clicks and hisses.
Do any of them look like messed up?
that's
Wow.
the yolk.
Airster, do you want any of these trinkets? Like,
I would very much like to get out of the swamp.
You can see
Very-
in the trinkets and stuff. I mean, there are things like earrings and little pendants and things like that. But some of it just looks like beads and like just, I mean, like sort of kid jewelry and things like that. You guys know that people from Arragas trade with the lizard folk all the time. So you can tell by this smattering of what they've offered you that not every one of the traders is as honest as he could be, or she could be, right? But there are coins in there, and the armband that the one guy gave you, it looks like it's a solid bronze armband. I mean, it's probably worth 20 gold. That by itself.
I'll
Any
send you a spot
identifying?
for the armband.
Do you want the net for the armband? Is that okay?
He
Or is it
says
just the pile.
he basically
No.
then grabs the mat and spins it like a lazy Susan,
Oh.
and all the lizards start packing all the meat in their
Okay.
little pouches, and like some of them start eating some of it, and you're free to have everything on the other side of the mat.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well, I finished my ritual. If we want to.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna take everything
Okay.
because otherwise it would be rude.
Yeah.
And so, and I'm gonna say, thank you. Oh, bless you guys.
Can you ask them if there's any obvious dangers that we could be heading into?
In this direction, and I point wherever the ritual points.
Is there? Do you know of any dangers in that direction? Are there more of your people in that direction?
He looks in that direction and he says, "My people know that's night scale territory. They are very dangerous. They will kill you.
No. So it's like a different tribe of your people?
Yes, they are evil. They're a bad tribe. They're born from bad eggs. Not like us. We're good eggs. All of us. Good
You
eggs.
are. Yes.
We're the
You
yolk.
are.
I don't know. He's trying to get the
clutch.
become a thing.
I say that now.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything any way we should go to avoid them, or they're just kind of scattered all over the place?
Back to your home.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Your home, the wall place.
The wall. Yes, that's where we live.
Night scales won't go there.
Oh, okay.
The nearest one, according to the spell, is how far?
About another half hour into night scale territory.
Okay.
Okay.
He starts rolling up his mat. You see him flick all the mud off of it, and then basically just shove it in his back across one of his straps. They make some sort of a hand gesture at you, and then they move off.
Mimic it awkwardly.
Okay. They move off into the swamp. They are going. So basically, you guys were traveling mostly east and kind of going up north a little bit. They travel like almost due north from your current position.
Good night. Sorry.
Guys, I think that went well. I think I'm starting to make a foothold with
All
these
right.
people.
So when you look through the trinkets, somebody can write this down. You basically have green lizard man trinkets.
Sweet.
You have a bronze armband that you believe to be worth about 20 gold. You have about 15 gold pieces of various coinage, and this is elven coinage, dwarven coinage, and human coinage.
Are you writing all this down?
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that catches your eye is a very specific gold coin that's heavier. Like you can just tell, like it's bigger and thicker than the other gold coins.
It's a dense coin.
And on one side is some dwarven writing, and on the other side is a skull with basically a bunch of arrows or sunbeams coming out from behind it.
Okay.
And it is not like any money that you have ever seen in Arragas.
Can I do a history check?
Sure.
I'm going to give you the...
Me too, since I speak
Thing.
Dwarvish.
The skull
sure.
coin.
Dwarf
No,
friends.
That would be
Yeah.
18.
Let me give that to you.
You've never heard of this coin
Ooh.
or any coins minted like it. You don't recognize it. I mean, it's got dwarven on it, so maybe some dwarves would know. You can read the dwarven. The dwarven basically says it's some word that you've never heard before in dwarven.
Like a name.
And
or
it's
location.
it's like a name. It
Right.
it strikes you as a proper noun, but you've never heard, like, it doesn't mean anything in dwarven. Like, it's not the word for gold or the word, it's not the word for anything. It's just like a bunch of syllables together that makes a really guttural, like, noise.
Does it look like anything like an armorer's mark or anything that I've seen on
No.
armor before? Or anything?
No. It's not it's actual writing. Like, it's a word.
Okay.
You should probably
It's not
ask
like a
Periga
symbol.
about this
Okay.
strange
Well,
coin.
I mean,
Somebody else, because I don't think he likes me.
Oh, we could ask
Right.
Dorga too. Dorga might.
Yep, Dorga.
Let's not. Let's ask Kurga.
If you guys feel like making a weekend trip, you could probably get out to Watanga Mining Station and ask Grim about it.
We could definitely do that, and then we
I've
could
got
head
some
out to the
friends in
fort
town,
and fight
Mm-hmm.
and look for my friends.
You guys remember that Watanga Mining Station was evacuated, so not all of you will be able to go unless you're on official guild business.
well, I've got some dwarf friends in town too.
Okay.
All right.
Unless we freelance.
All right. So we're gonna say we'll stop here for the night because it is now 10:17.
Yep.
So we are going to stop in Scalebolg, and we'll decide before next week whether we want to continue into Scalebolg for the rest of the day or whether we want to head back to Arragas with as many purpleberry hawthorn roots as we found, plus
Four,
this
so you
interesting
can't
coin,
roll.
plus a bronze armband that may be worth a little bling bling.
Cheddar.
Yeah. All right.
I'll trade it for a new net.
Is everybody?
net.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you had to roll for
Steel
anything, but you
reinforced.
have plus a d4. Right?
Yay. Plus D4.
If you want to like take a look and see if any of it's valuable or something, that's
Plus
okay.
one chain
Yeah.
net of entangling.
Okay, thanks
That's
everybody
not
for
bad.
showing up tonight. We had a really good time. Please tune in next week.
Could be.
Do we know if next Tuesday is the next installment?
I don't
Of
know
secrets?
quite yet, but I will know by tomorrow.
Okay, great. And as always, we'll keep the website or the stream, the channel updated with that information just as soon as we know it. You guys will know it. Thanks everybody for coming out tonight and witnessing the heroic events that transpired over the last 2 hours. Have a great night. Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for everyone in chat. And Mom, if you're still watching, I will see you later.